Welcome back. In this tutorial, we are looking at using Dalle2 and ChatGPT in the same prompt, and we can do that something like this, wherein you can have the same integrated UI, wherein you can either search for a chat or you can get fetch an image, and we are going to look at how to do this. For this, we are using something called panel, and you also need a Jupyter notebook. And I'll just show you first how to get started with a Jupyter notebook. You just need to do conda install -c anaconda Jupyter, or if you already have a Jupyter notebook, you know how to launch a Jupyter notebook here. So Jupyter notebook will launch a notebook here, or if this looks too complicated to you, you can as well as head to Google Colab and you can try this command in Google Colab. It will work for you. And the other thing we are need to be aware of is something called panel. So pip install panel. Panel is nothing but a high level app and a dashboarding solution for Python. So that's the other one I wanted to discuss here. And the other thing is head to platform.openapi.com. You already know this. Create a new secret key and copy this, and we will be using it later on here. So we do need that API key. So we have already looked at in the past, you know how to get your API key. So I'm not going over that again. So the benefit here is if we want to build a chatbot that uses both the AI models with few lines of code, we can do that with panel. And in this chatbot includes both ChatGPT and Dalle2. So there we already know these two are from OpenAI, and one is to generate text queries for your text queries, and the another one is to images based on the text you request in the prompt. So those are the two things we'll be exploring here. And we already looked at OpenAPI key, and for the panel part I'll point you to the documentation, but I'll just show you what's needed for this. So we are using DaVinci 3 here, and this is our prompt for text, and this is a prompt for the image which we will be using, and that's the two functions I've written here. And after this, the first thing you need to do is import sys. So sys is the system library in Python, and here we are installing that using pip install OpenAI. This is limited to just this notebook, so it won't do anything in your virtual environment, so it won't matter there. So we are just doing it in specific to this notebook. Similarly, we are installing panel here, and after we do that, so if you want to read more about panel, I'll point you to that, but import panel as this. And the next thing you need to do here is as we discussed, panel is just nothing but a dashboarding library in open source. You can look up HoloViz ecosystem, which offers high level tools to simplify visualizations in Python, and this was developed by Philip Rudgier, Jim Benesser, and community contributors. And I have pointed you to the link here in panel. You can click on this link here. It does not seem to be there, so let me add this for you here. So if you just click on this here, I will add the some description on what panel is so that you are aware of this. Okay, so yeah, I've added some description for what panel is here, so you can go ahead and click on this so that it will point you through that specific one. So to build a panel dashboard, the first thing you need to do is import the panel and associated modules, and then we'll make three widgets. One is INP, is where we type our text prompt to the chat with the chatbot, and button conversation is the chat button that will send the prompt to OpenAI text completion, and similarly button image is the image button that will send the prompt to OpenAPI image generation API. And after this, the get conversation stores function returns all conversations we have with the chatbot in the panel object. And there are several things to note here. One is convo text. So convo text stores all conversations in a list when we give OpenAI text completion in a prompt, and we include chats from history. Similarly, panel support markdown. This is added to all the prompts and OpenAI responses to the markdown format. And whenever there is a new chat, a new panel gets created to reflect this chat and append it to the conversation list. And the get image function, it's a lot simpler. We simply show the image that you have requested in the object, in the panel object, and everything shown in the panel dashboard needs to be a panel object. And the final step is we need to bind this to conversations, to bind the get conversations with button conversation and get image function with the button function, meaning only when we click the button the function will execute. Then we organize the panel widgets and interactive components in one dashboard. And to execute this, we have it. And let's look at some examples here. So let me say, tell me a World War II story, right? So you can see this, it returns back that to us. Cool. So I got a text here. And now let's look at some Dalle2 here. So let me ask it unicorn hiking on the cloud. Cool. So yeah, you got the image like this. And basically that's another use case I wanted to promote to cover here. So this is pretty useful, as many of you may be using OpenAI and want to also use DALL-E in interfaces. And I know Jupyter notebooks and Google Colabs are used by a lot of data scientists in real time, and that's why I wanted to cover this use case part of this tutorial. I hope you like it. Thank you for joining.